The United States has long been a global hub for higher education, attracting hundreds of thousands of international students every year. These students bring diverse perspectives, foster cross-cultural understanding, and contribute significantly to the academic, economic, and social fabric of the country. But what if the United States suddenly decided to stop allowing foreign students to study within its borders? What would be the immediate and long-term consequences of such a drastic policy shift? How would it impact the American economy, academia, innovation, international relations, and even the students themselves? First, to appreciate the gravity of this hypothetical scenario, it is important to understand the scale and significance of foreign students in the United States today. According to data from the Institute of International Education, over 1 million international students were enrolled in U.S. colleges and universities in recent years, representing nearly 5% of the total student population. These students hail from countries all over the world: China, India, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, Canada, and many others. They pursue degrees across all disciplines, from engineering and business to arts and humanities. Economically, international students contribute billions of dollars annually to the U.S. economy. This includes tuition payments, housing, food, transportation, and other living expenses. According to the National Association of Foreign Student Advisors, international students contributed approximately $45 billion in economic activity and supported over 450,000 jobs nationwide. Many local economies, especially those with major universities, heavily rely on this revenue. Cities such as Boston, San Francisco, New York, and Chicago benefit significantly from the presence of foreign students. If the U.S. government imposed a ban or severe restrictions on foreign students studying in the country, the economic consequences would be swift and severe. Universities would face enormous budget shortfalls due to the loss of tuition revenue, leading to cuts in programs, staff layoffs, and even school closures, particularly for private institutions and smaller colleges. The housing market around campuses would suffer as demand drops, affecting landlords and businesses that serve students. Local economies that depend on student spending, from restaurants to retail to public transport, would face significant downturns. But the economic fallout is just one aspect. International students enrich the academic environment by bringing diverse viewpoints and experiences that foster critical thinking, creativity, and innovation. Their presence challenges American students to broaden their perspectives, promotes cultural exchange, and helps build global networks of future leaders, entrepreneurs, and researchers. Without this diversity, American campuses might become more insular and less competitive globally. Innovation and research would also be negatively impacted. Many international students pursue advanced degrees in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM fields, contributing to cutting-edge research and development. These students often work as research assistants in university labs, help secure research grants, and are vital contributors to the academic output and patents produced by U.S. institutions. Without access to this talent pool, America's edge in innovation could erode over time, allowing other countries to catch up or surpass the U.S. in key technologies. Furthermore, many international students choose to remain in the United States after graduation, filling crucial roles in industries such as technology, healthcare, and finance. They contribute to workforce diversity and help address shortages in skilled labor. If the U.S. closes its doors to foreign students, it could worsen existing talent gaps and weaken economic competitiveness. On a broader geopolitical level, barring international students could harm America's global standing and diplomatic relationships. Education is a form of soft power. When foreign students study in the U.S., they often return home with positive views of American culture, values, and institutions, strengthening bilateral ties and facilitating cooperation in business, politics, and security. A sudden ban would alienate many countries and undermine decades of goodwill built through educational exchange programs. Moreover, the United States might inadvertently strengthen rival nations' universities. Countries such as Canada, Australia, the United Kingdom, Germany, and China would likely seize the opportunity to attract displaced international students. Over time, this could shift global academic leadership away from the U.S., diminishing its influence in setting international research agendas and education standards. From the perspective of the international students themselves, the ban would be devastating. For many, studying in the U.S. represents a pathway to better opportunities, advanced training, and personal growth. Losing this option could limit their career prospects and access to world-class education. It would also restrict the diversity of ideas and knowledge flowing into the global community, which benefits everyone. Socially, the absence of foreign students would reduce cultural diversity on campuses and in communities. This could lead to less understanding and empathy across cultures, potentially increasing xenophobia and isolationism. The unique traditions, festivals, food, and languages brought by international students would be lost, impoverishing the social fabric of university towns. The ban would also have ripple effects on international academic collaboration. Joint research projects, conferences, and exchange programs rely heavily on the mobility of students and scholars. Restrictions on foreign students would disrupt these networks, slowing the pace of scientific discovery and innovation worldwide. In the long term, the U.S. higher education system might undergo profound changes. Universities could increase recruitment efforts in their own domestic populations, but this may not compensate for the loss of international students' talent and funding. Some programs could shrink or disappear, especially those that rely heavily on international participation. The competitive advantage American institutions enjoy globally might diminish, affecting their ability to attract the best faculty and form strategic partnerships. There could also be political backlash domestically. University leaders, business communities, and state governments would likely push back against such restrictive policies, highlighting the economic and social damage. Students, both domestic and international, could protest and mobilize for more inclusive policies. Historically, there have been moments when immigration or visa policies tightened, leading to temporary declines in international student enrollment. For example, after the 9/11 attacks, increased security measures caused a drop in applications from abroad. However, these declines were followed by recovery efforts and policy adjustments. A full ban, however, would represent an unprecedented step with deeper consequences. Some advocates for restricting foreign students argue that it protects American jobs and security. However, evidence suggests that international students generally complement rather than compete with domestic workers. They often fill roles in research and innovation that are hard to replace. Security concerns, while important, can be addressed through thorough vetting and monitoring without blanket bans. In the face of such a ban, some American universities might explore alternative solutions. These could include expanding online education platforms, forming partnerships with foreign institutions to offer joint degrees, or encouraging more study abroad programs for American students. While valuable, these initiatives cannot fully replicate the benefits of in-person international student presence. International students themselves might turn to other countries with more welcoming policies. Canada, for instance, has invested heavily in attracting foreign students by offering postgraduate work permits and clear pathways to permanent residency. Australia and the UK also actively compete for this talent pool. Over time, this could permanently shift educational migration patterns away from the US. Ultimately, the decision to ban or restrict foreign students would be one of the most consequential policy shifts in decades. It would affect millions of lives, thousands of institutions, and the global position of the United States. While it may seem like a way to protect national interests in the short term, the long-term ramifications would likely undermine America's economic strength, academic excellence, cultural richness, and international influence. In conclusion, the United States' openness to foreign students has been a key pillar of its leadership in higher education and innovation. Closing this door would not only harm the economy and academic communities, but also diminish America's role as a global leader and advocate for cross-cultural understanding. Instead, policymakers would be better served by fostering inclusive policies that welcome international talent, ensure security through targeted measures, and invest in education as a shared global good. The future prosperity and influence of the United States depend in large part on maintaining its position as a top destination for students from around the world.